Okay, we're going with green today because that is the acid blood of the xenomorphs. Before we begin, do you know who the hybrid children in Alien Earth remind me of? That's right, Severance employees. I'm pretty sure the creators and writers of the show legitimately got their inspiration for these hybrids from Severance employees. They're basically kid brains in adult bodies. Prove me wrong. Anyway, hello friends, it's Miscellaneous Gab and I am back with my review for Alien Earth episode 3 entitled Metamorphosis. Now, luckily, nobody cyberbullied me in the comments of my last video where I watched episode 1 and 2 with zero context. As a reminder, this is my very first foray into the entire Empire universe of the Alien realm. A lot of you have encouraged me which Alien films to begin, and some of you also left some really insightful comments about what you love about Alien Earth and what you don't like about it as devoted watchers of the alien world. Now I'm thinking of doing a watch along react video for episode 4 because I do think some shit is going to go down in episode 4, so leave a comment below if you want to see that. Before I begin, I would love a prequel on just where the crew of the Weyland-Yutani research vessel traveled. Like, I know they found some of these specimens on a moon, but was there a whole colony of them? What went down? How long have they been traveling? We understand that Morrow has been gone for generations and has been alive a lot longer than that. So I would love a story on exactly what went down. Let's dive into the episode. So we're back with boy Cavalere, the boy genius, who now seems to be more interested in this alien species. He actually calls them bioweapons, which is something I mentioned in my last video, that this is kind of like the new generation of chemical warfare. Then he seems more interested in them than his AI hybrids that his staff has reminded him he spent over a decade on, is poised to release and change the world. It's probably a symptom of that lack of prefrontal lobe / billions of dollars in the bank concoction makes you chase the shiny things. Add in a genius level IQ and it's just a freaking disaster. Back in New Siam, we revisit what's going on with Hermit and Wendy, these long lost brother and sister. So he is somehow still alive, surprisingly. He's like all webbed up in some sort of truck situation with carcasses hanging around. Was the alien playing with him or what's going on? Now, as soon as I saw that, I'm like, why didn't that alien just kill him? Like, we have seen the xenomorph kill, like, probably the body count is at least 30. Relatively small amount of time, probably 50. And then this one dude, he's just hanging out with him. Now, I understand maybe why he didn't immediately murder Wendy, and that's because it's clear that these xenomorphs or their eggs are somehow attracted to organic matter, which is a hybrid or a synth. You do not register under that category. But come on, like, what's he doing with Hermit? I kind of hated this scene, guys. I kind of hated it. The plot armor, shall we say, was quite thick here. We see another view of the spit. Now, I asked in my last video if the spit meant something. Apparently it doesn't in the alien canon. We get Hermit, who is literally stabbed through the lung, like through the middle of his body, through that zone where it's you will die. And even if you don't die, even if you are a medical miracle, you know what you won't be able to do? You will not be able to run. You will not be able to walk. You will not be able to fuse two tripwires together and open a garage door or close it. The fact that this was happening, like the first strike was that the xenomorph didn't kill Hermit in like 0.5 seconds. The second strike was not immediate death or at least incapacitation upon being stabbed through the middle of your body. But the third strike was that he was able to do multiple things with that. Now, I have never been physically holding my own guts into my body. I pray that I never have, but if any of you watching this somehow have undergone such a serious injury and can report back that this is indeed possible and I'm just nitpicking, please report back in the comments. This pissed me off. This scene pissed me off. We meet up with the other hybrids and nobody seems to care about the eggs. So my big complaint, which some of you commiserated with last episode, was that no one cared about the eggs. Mr. Hermit is sticking his face in there after being absolutely traumatized for the past several hours. And now we have these children who are sticking their face in these eggs. And I think this is another thing that kind of annoyed me about the show. I do like the show, but this annoyed me. Last episode, we see that the children are quite frightened. Like the Lost Boys, they're frightened. They're clearly unprepared for this kind of mission. They're like, ah, monsters. And then in this episode, they're like, haha, this is cool. Like, wow, that's classified information. Let me stick my face in an egg. Are they scared or are they not scared? What is going on? I'm glad we got my two biggest annoyances out of the way because those were indeed my two biggest annoyances with episode 3. The last episode, I was contemplating that Morrow works for somebody else and is kind of like the sleeper agent. I don't really think that anymore based on everything that we saw with him. I think that he was just listening to the ship. He was following orders. He clearly seems somewhat haunted by the fact that he had to basically ignore the crew members' pleas for help, be a witness to so much death and destruction. He's under orders. He's not fully human. Basically, he says that he's the worst parts of a man, which I find this to be such an interesting conundrum, more so than even the aliens and like the cool gadgets and whatever, but is just more of the impact of immortality, hybrids, cyborgs on a society, on the human psyche. I feel like I understand cyborgs the least. Morrow, I would say, is the most interesting character in the show. The show took a different turn than I was expecting. I know this takes place 2 years before the original Alien. Kind of expected this crash to just unleash death and destruction, and then it would all be about fighting that. But we seem to have reeled everything in, captured everything for now. Operating phrase, for now. Buys us some time to focus on, I guess, like the human AI hybrid cyborg. By the way, this island reminded me of Spy Kids, the island of lost dreams. There are seemingly fractures within Boy Cavalere's staff, people who are annoyed with him that they were trying to change the world, make things positive with the whole hybrid situation. And now what are they doing? He kind of gambled this 10 years and trillions of dollars of work just to chase these shiny objects. Boy Cavalere is a little more excited because he's finally had an interesting conversation with one of the hybrids who seems to want to be Daddy's special helper and prove that she is using her supercomputer brain to the fullest extent. So we finally start to see a little bit of individual characterization and personalization with the hybrid kids. Back in the lab, Boy Cavalere also puts his face in an egg. I'm so done with people underestimating the danger of these damn eggs. Slightly is the name of the code name for one of the other lost boys, and it seems like Morrow seems to hack into him. Remember, there was a near death or near destructive experience back at the ship. It sounds like Morrow, he's very shrewd, he's very smart. It seems like he actually knows how to talk to these children as children. Very interested to see how he maybe breaches the weakest point of the wall of the crew. So one thing, I think this is silly. It is something I thought of and I want to share it with you since we're all on the same journey. So Dame Sylvia, another member of Boy Cavalere's staff, I noticed that she kind of looks like Wendy. She also seems very fond of her. I don't know if it's just because she has a heart or what. She seems quite fond of her. She's sleeping at the bedside of Wendy, who logically is not quite human. She really sees the humanity of her. I started to wonder, is this her mother? Like, is Dame Sylvia the mother of the child that they basically killed and took the brain of? They only really mentioned the father. I thought I would mention it because it's kind of a fun theory that I have. So we get to the end and we kind of have this juxtaposition of them operating on the egg and them operating on Hermit. And I have to say one thing. Just have to say one thing. And I might cuss for a moment here, if you'll let me. Why in the absolute fuck are they using a 1990s like handy cam to document this freaking operation? Like we live in a world where there's deep space travel, where we can regrow organs, where we can create hybrids and synths and cyborgs. And that is the level of video cam that you're using. Are you freaking kidding me? Can someone please comment and let me know like what the freaking point of that was? That level of video is what we're working with? 100 years from now, the best video camera we have is worse than the Sony that I am looking at right now. Come on. Anyway, I thought if there's this really interesting parallel between the aliens and AI. In the last episode, I talked about how Boy Cavalere has this interesting reflection on essentially being resigned to the fact that once you let AI out of the bag, that it's this race for intelligence, that it will eventually create something that will make humans obsolete. Like what we've created will create something and then either they'll kill us or we'll be obsolete or whatever. And I actually think it's so interesting that there's such a parallel with the the alien specimens is that they're just treating it like, okay, this is a tool, this is a bioweapon, and not necessarily treating it as this could actually very easily bring about the complete and utter destruction, eradication of our species. We're creating and exploding these AIs and whatever with seemingly no guardrails. And it's almost like, were things over as soon as they began? Like, are we done? Is our fate written in the stars once the first AI was created? Is our fate sealed as soon as that ship jettisoned into the buildings? And I see that parallel where Boy Cavalere almost seems resigned. Like I said, that this is, eventually, probably not within my lifetime, humankind, whatever, on to bigger and better things. There's nothing I can do to stop it. This is the price of progress. And I wonder the same thing about an alien species where their blood is acid. Wendy seems to be super sensitive to the egg situation, like way more sensitive than the other hybrids. I don't know if this is just because she is an iPhone 13 in a world of iPhone 15s. With Hermit, they seem to have taken out his lung. I thought at first when it was in that little jar that they were regrowing his lung or repairing it, and which made me even more mad that scene is taking place in the same scene that people are using a 1990s handy cam to document a surgical procedure. And then eventually they take out the little larva creature from the egg of the egg and put it in the jar with the lung, because we know the eggs are attracted to organic matter. Now, I don't know, are they replacing Hermit's lung with some sort of bionic situation? What fate does Hermit have, and how will that affect Wendy? We know a lot of her motivations are intrinsically tied to the welfare of her brother. All in all, I'm still really enjoying this show. I am working on my Dark series and Severance. This is the best kind of contemporary ongoing show that I'm watching right now. If you'd like to see more coverage or a watch along for next episode, please leave a comment below, like and subscribe. Any interaction that you give to my video, it really helps me and shows me that this video is working. Now, before we go, I would really like to thank all of my Waffle Party VIP members who support my work very generously. Thank you so much to Marlon Yamzon, Dolores Abernathy, Daniel Ariano, Bo Dierker, Jim Rodney, Matt Winbury, and Chris Bazeski. And thank you to all my other paid members. This week, I will be doing a Westworld rewatch, very specifically only for my Patreon crew. Come on over to Patreon. I will see you next time. Just be careful out there. Don't put your face in any eggs once more, and be appropriately traumatized by terrible alien interactions. Thank you, and I'll see you next time. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye.